Hi everyone, welcome to a very special day. It is the Read Across America Day. We are celebrating the love of reading. Education Association and the Kappa Delta Pi Honor Society. Our group of advisors and student leaders have chosen to do live read-alouds today on our Facebook to promote Read Across America, which is sponsored by the National Education Association. My read aloud is going to be Giraffes Can't Dance. Other leaders and advisors have chosen their own books that they will be reading throughout the day. I believe our next one is by Dr. Viaclia at 9 a.m. So I hope you join us for the rest of the live read-alouds throughout the day. I think the last one is at 7 p.m. today. So this is my favorite book of all time, as most of my students know. And actually, if anyone who is in my former kindergarten classroom would also know that too. This is called Giraffes Can't Dance. I really love this book because it rhymes, it has great vocabulary, has a good moral to the story. It's fun, and of course, my favorite thing, it has animals in it. So, let's look at this book, Giraffes Can't Dance. What do you think this book is about? Let's make a prediction. What do you think this book is about? I bet you probably would predict that it's about a giraffe, which would be a good prediction since there's a giraffe on the front cover. And if you didn't know what the title was, I wonder what would you actually think the book is about just by looking at the picture. Kind of looks like the giraffe's leaping and everything. But we know the title is Giraffes Can't Dance. So, let's see if our prediction is right. Do we think that giraffes can't dance? So we're going to read the book to find out if our prediction is right. So our book is by Giles Andreae, and the illustrator, the one who draws the pictures, is Guy Parker Reese. Giraffes Can't Dance. And right now, I'm also reading to my dog, Izzy. Izzy, come here. Want to come join the read aloud? Sit. Sit. So my dog, Izzy, is joining us for the read aloud right now, as you can see. Izzy. There's Izzy. Psst, right here. Ready for a story? Okay. All right. Giraffes Can't Dance. So excited. We have our title page. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim. But his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees. But when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. What do you think the word buckled means? Buckled. It's a good vocabulary word, buckled. We can use the pictures to help us understand what the word buckled means. Looks like he's bending down and he kind of falls down because he's kind of bent at the knees. Now, every year in Africa, they hold the jungle dance, where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. And this year, when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad, because when it came to dancing, he was really very bad. And you can see all the animals at the jungle dance. What kind of animals do you see? We see giraffe, of course. We see Gerald. We see the zebras, lion, What other animals do you see? See some chimpanzees, rhinos, an elephant up there. So let's at the dance, the jungle dance. The warthogs started waltzing. The rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold. Those are all great words. So, the lions danced a tango, looks like a type of dance, and the warthogs were waltzing, another type of dance. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked toward the floor. But the lions saw him coming, and they soon began to roar. "Hey, look at clumsy Gerald," the animals all sneered. "Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you're so weird." So you can see Gerald is just right in the center of the jungle dance, and everyone's around him. What do you see that the animals are all doing? They're all laughing at Gerald and pointing. You can even see the lion over here pointing. And they said, "Gerald, you're a silly fool. You're so weird." How do you think Gerald feels right now? How would you feel if you were Gerald? Has there ever been a time in your life that you felt like Gerald? Have you ever been one of the other animals that have done that to somebody else? Probably didn't make the person feel good. So let's see what Gerald does now. Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted to the spot. "They're right," he thought. "I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot." It's a good vocabulary word, clot. Should write that down and look that up later. So he crept off from the dance floor, and he started walking home. He'd never felt so sad before. So sad and so alone. Then he found a little clearing, and he looked up at the sky. "The moon can be so beautiful," he whispered with a sigh. "Excuse me," coughed a cricket, who'd seen Gerald earlier on. "But sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song." Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really want it to. So what's happening? The cricket right here is talking to Gerald to listen to the trees. With that, the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying, and his tail was swishing round. So what is Gerald doing? His legs he threw his legs out sideways, and he swung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and leapt up in the air. Where have you seen this picture before? Anyone remember where you saw this picture before? If you said the front cover, you are correct. Gerald felt so wonderful, his mouth was open wide. "I am dancing! Yes, I'm dancing! I am dancing!" Gerald cried. So how do you think Gerald feels now? Well, by looking at the pictures on his face, it sure looks like he's happy. And we can also tell by the way his mouth, he said the text says his mouth was open wide, and there's exclamation points saying, "I'm dancing." And then they also said Gerald felt so wonderful. So lots of clues to tell us how he's feeling. Think about a time that you might have felt this way after you tried something new and accomplished it. Did you have like the same expression that Gerald did? Then one by one, each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle! We must be in a dream! Gerald's the best dancer that we've ever seen." "How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how." But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. I just heard two rhyming words, how, bow. There's lots of rhyming words in this book. But let's see, we have how, bow. What's another rhyming word with that? How, bow, cow, now. That's a good activity you could do after reading this book. Come up with all the rhyming words. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. "We all can dance," he said, "when we find music that we love." So, what do you think the moral of this story was? What did you learn from this story? One thing I learned is that everybody's different, and that sometimes, just like the cricket said right here, sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song. And that's all it took for Gerald to start dancing and do something. So sometimes you just need something different. Maybe a change. And then you can do something excellent. So if something's not working, maybe try something new. That's something that I learned. Thinking back to the story, does anyone remember the dances that the animals did? At the jungle dance? I remember the lions were dancing. I remember they did a tango. I'm going to refer back to the text. They did a tango. And anyone remember what the warthogs were doing? The warthogs were waltzing. And the rhinos, what about the rhinos? They rock and rolled. So was our prediction correct? Our prediction was that giraffes can't dance, just like the title. Was that correct? I don't think so. I think our prediction was not correct because we learned giraffes can dance. So some activities that you could do with this, you could look at all the rhyming words in the story, look at the vocabulary. You could also think about writing and drawing a picture about a time that you did something different and then it turned out great. Just like with Gerald, he used different music and he was able to dance. You could also write about a time that you felt like Gerald here when everyone was laughing at you or pointing, or you felt weird. And maybe what you did differently or what you could have done differently at that time. One other thing is you could do is also practice, which would be fun, the dancing moves that the animals did. See if you can actually find a YouTube video on the learning the cha-cha like the chimps, or waltzing, or doing the tango. That'd also be something fun to extend this story. You could also come up with your own book. Maybe another animal that can't do something but learned that they could do something after something changed. Maybe use like dogs can't, I don't know, Izzy, what do you think? Dogs can't swim? I could write a story about that, and then something different. Maybe Izzy found a different toy or something, and then she was able to swim. Those are all great extensions for this story. So I want to thank you for being here with the first Read Aloud for National Read Across America Day. There are about 10 other live read-alouds from our faculty advisors and student leaders. Our next one is coming up in 15 minutes. I hope you watch a lot of our videos today. We thank you for your support. And keep reading.